Sir, aside from the declaration of a public health emergency, do you have other specific directives to the IATF, particularly to the Department of Health, particular to the Department of Health on addressing the COVID-19, sir?
Yung COVID-19 is here. It is a contagion. It has not reached the level of an epidemic in our assessment, and neither is it pandemic. But if you read and view TV, you would notice that the numbers of victims are galloping. In Italy, they say that they are taking in 1,000 a day. Ang sa Pilipinas, wala pa naman masyado. May bagong yung sa 24 plus the 24 lahat as of last count. But the infection, the transmission is going on. Kasi may mga bago nadagdagan. 20 plus 4, it's 24. So, that is how bad it is. So, we have decided to the clamor also of the mayors, probably much worried than we here. So it is the consensus that by the body that classes will be suspended in NCR, National Capital Region lang. Beginning tomorrow and it will end in March 14. The reason being that parang tignan natin yung incubation period, which is not ordinarily like a normal virus, 3 or 4. Ito umaabot ng 14 days. So itong 14 days na ito, one is to keep safe the children. Second is that we're going to establish a benchmark kung ilan pa ang madagdagan. At ngayon, kung itong walang klase, would it somehow reduce the number of the victims? If we keep our children sequestered at home and study there, and the Secretary of Education, si Briones, has insisted that they should stay home and study, and we have agreed that DILG and ang police will supervise us through one officers. So yung nandyan sa labas, tanongin sila, magdadala ng libro. If they are there, they will be escorted to the parents, and for the parents to be lectured on the responsibilities of being a parent. That the children should study even while they are detained in their respective homes. Walang klase. So, in all levels to. Mahirap kasi because the contamination of 10 years old is the same with the virus is, or the virus is so virulent that, even a contact, a mere talking and shaking could place you in jeopardy. and we are trying to avoid losses, especially lives. And that is why we met this afternoon. But after March 14, we will be meeting again to discuss whether we save lives and yung itong ano ngayon, itong 24, gagaling to. Pero palagay ko, gagaling. I was just shooting the breeze with everybody. Mas marami tayong mga Chinese na yung to the extent of creating a xenophobia. Sino is Chinese phobia? Parang pantakot sa insect. Do not do that. You know, there are Chinese as there are Filipinos in China also affected. And we have something like 300,000 in Hong Kong. We do not have the accurate number of Filipinos working in the mainland China. So, yung irresponsible reporting, as if we are blaming everything against the Chinese. It should not be the case. For as long as we cannot stop travel, we cannot. We have to continue to open our doors. Paski na sanabi noon na while the virus was starting, because that is really the norm of conduct of the world today. Travel. You have to travel abroad, business. Especially that we have opened our doors to investment. What's bothering us is, well, ganito na lang. We have the money to combat itong COVID-19. We have, I assure you, we have the money and we can defeat that ang inang virus na yan. Saan ba nakatira yan? We can defeat it. And this is not the first time that we have, well, in a way, in the past, I remember when I was young, there was this flu. It was also, alam mo, ang totoo niyan, just a cleansing, not really a cleansing, but hindi magtagal ito eh. The first one is the bubonic plague, the Black Death. Mayroong maraming namatay. Then the Spanish flu just after or before World War I. Mga sundalo na patay lahat. And then we have this thing, wala pa masyad tayong alam. But I'm sure that the scientists all over the world are working overtime to look for the vaccine. Hindi ito magtatagal.
Sir?
I am confident that we will survive this contagion.
Sir, clarify ko lang yung sinabi niyo, COVID cases in the Philippines, 24 na po. So we have 4 new cases, sir, since this
24.
afternoon.
There was one in West Kramis, San Juan, Santa Maria, ba ito? Bulacan, and Project 6 of Quezon City. One month, tag-isa sila.
So additional 4, sir, since this afternoon. Sir, yung dun po sa, balik tayo sir dun sa suspension ng classes. So kahit na wala silang pasok, they will be sequestered in their homes itong mga estudyante.
Because the Secretary of Justice is insisting that they go to classes. And the only way that we can convince Secretary Brunes was that even if they are in school, even if they are in their houses, they should be studying. So we place the responsibility for that in the barangay captain, and the enforcement would be the police. Kasi parang truant officers. So what the secretary wants really to happen is that there is no stoppage in education.
What about government work, sir, or